time for our newspaper review. We'll be looking at stories that made it to the front pages of the dailies. Now, starting off with the Daily Trust newspaper. Boldly there on the front page of Daily Trust, we have Atiku, Nigeria on the verge of losing democracy. Government offering opposition 50 million naira. Parties must unite to save democracy, says RFI. Power not given but fought for, says Amici. And Shetima, democracy despite flaws is best. On the top left, I feed from renting out my house in Kaduna, says former President Buhari. Nigeria has money to fund Tinubu's foreign trip, says the minister. That was the bane of our phone-in conversation today. And in sports, 2025 AFCON, Nigeria draw Tunisia, Tanzania, Uganda in Group C. Now on the bottom, we have gunmen invade Abuja community, kidnap man, wife, son, and 2 others. What federal government must do to make currency swap with China work? Afe Babalola withdraws case against Farosimi, and Hamas rejects Trump relocation proposal for Palestinians. Now, those are the stories we have on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. Do well to grab yourself a copy and keep yourself informed. Now, let's look at Guardian. For the Guardian newspaper, on the front page, U.S. aid suspension may cost Nigeria $1 billion in health funding and others yearly. Shetima blames democratic failure in Africa on complex pressures. Also on Guardian, we have EU tells ECOWAS find new ways to coexist with Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Police resist terrorist escape to Cameroon, IEDs recovered in Kano. And road crashes claims 5,421 lives in 2024, up by 7%. Still on Guardian, 2027, more hurdles for opposition as Obi rejects coalition, PDP crisis deepen. Well, those are the stories we have on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Now, joining us in the studio to review some of the headlines on today's papers is the Program Director, Daily Trust Foundation, Dr. Theophilus Abba. Thank you so much for joining us today, sir.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
It's good to have you. Now, before we comment on the major stories on democracy there on Daily Trust now, I feed from renting out my house in Kaduna, says former President Buhari. You know, there's always this attitude of former presidents coming out to act like saints when they've left power. But what's your thought on that?
Well, I think he was joking. You know, I don't think he said the truth. If he said he was feeding from his house rent or what he got from renting out his house. Because if you look at the revenue mobilization and fiscal commission, you know, in 2004, there are specific emoluments for ex-presidents. You know, for instance, they're entitled to a monthly salary. You know, every month they get a lot of money as salary. They have security staff. They have vehicles that are attached to them, and these vehicles are renewed every 4 years. It has free medical treatment, you know, in and outside Nigeria. He has access to a whole lot of things. You know, if you look at it, there are about 10 items. Even a house, he is entitled to a house in Abuja and a house at another location which he desires. So, and then while leaving the office, there's a lump sum. As at 2004, the lump sum was about 10 million naira that was given to him, and you can imagine what it is in 2024. You know, so I think he was joking, and maybe journalists took him seriously by looking at it as a news story. But if you fact check him, you know, if you look at maybe an amendment to this act, you know that he enjoys a lot of things. He doesn't need to depend on his house rent to survive. I don't think that is true. I think he was just joking, and we took it to be a serious issue to become a newspaper headline.
Well, I believe
I
was just joking.
Because he's entitled to a lot of things, and I don't think. I mean, he should tell us. He should not tell us that he's feeding from his rent.
No, I think this also begs to the exorbitant lifestyles we have of political leaders. I saw a picture of Kamala Harris right after the election, you know, shopping like just a normal citizen. You're out of power. But here you still find ex-presidents still wanting to find relevance I want it to be relevant. But now, moving away from that now, a lot of permutations and moves are made. Someone said the only time this president has to work is 2025, because by 2026, 2027, campaign and electioneering process have started, so they might not have time. But we see that politicians have already started making permutations and moves. Now you find Atiku saying Nigeria is on the verge of losing democracy. Everyone is, talking about it. But one thing is the role of the opposition in all of this. Now, what's your take on this statement by Atiku, RFI saying that parties must unite to save democracy, with how the opposition parties are in disarray at this point in time? Do you see that happening anytime soon? And what does it say about our democracy?
Well, I really want to commend the organizations that organized that conference. Center LSD, call it Center for Leadership, what do you call it, Strategy and Democracy, Center LSD. Then you have CDD, then you have the Peace Committee, like the Bishop Cooker Committee. They are the ones that organize, and bringing them together to discuss this issue is quite critical. Because as a matter of fact, this headline is very apt. We are on the verge of losing democracy. We are living in a country where people don't believe, the kind of outcome of elections that they see. Where even the Electoral Act is violated, and the courts will say yes, it is okay. Actually, some papers quoted Atiku as saying that the judiciary is destroying the Nigeria's democracy. Because if you have any dispute at elections, you go to the judiciary. And then if you know that the judiciary will look at the law, the Electoral Act, and interpret the act contrary to the spirit of the act, then you know that it's an unfortunate situation. People keep on losing confidence in the election because they know that even the technology that has been brought to improve the credibility of the election is been dropped aside. Somebody will tell you that, oh, IREF is not important. It's just a viewing center. So all those things are not helping us, and the judiciary too, they are not helping us. But of all the comments, the one that I disagree with, that of Amici, who says that power not given but fought for. Now, fighting for power, as the way we see it, the picture that comes to our mind is the picture of violence, snatching it, whether or not people like you, whether or not people voted for you, whether or not you have any policy. Just grab it and run away. Of course, that is not what democracy is all about. Democracy is about the people, giving you power because they know or they trust what you want to do. You tell the people that these are the things I want to do. Mr. B will also tell them, Mr. C will tell them, okay, we choose from among you Mr. A. If we are talking of power just is being fought for, grabbed and running, then we shouldn't be doing democracy. Then I should be content with maybe military coups or monarchies where a servant can just kill the master, the king, and then pronounces himself king. That is what Amici is talking about. A system where anybody can just grab power and run away with it, and then do whatever he wants to do. Nigeria, what we are facing today, it's not funny. So I don't think that we should go with what Amici has said. And even the opposition, well, it is good that they are still there in the opposition. All of them have not joined the ruling party, because what we see is when you are in the opposition, you make overtures, you make noise so that the ruling party will invite you as you come and join us. Then you now jump ship and join the ruling party. You see, we need the opposition party, but importantly, and I think that is what Atiku dwelled upon, importantly, the institutions that should guard democracy must value, the responsibilities they have.
All right. If
you are INEC and you don't value your responsibility, you can sell out. If you are a policeman, because it's not only INEC, even policemen, security agencies, they sell out. Then you have different kinds of, what you call, you talk about the judiciary also. So they do things that look odd, that disappoint Nigerians because they don't do what they ought to do. So I'm thinking that we should look at these issues critically. The institutions that should, that should conduct our democracy in such a way that it will survive should make sure that they do the right thing, so that people don't get disappointed all the time.
All right, thank you so much. We're pressed of time, but quickly, I'd love to get your thoughts on this, because the last time we spoke about it, you said Trump is saying America for Americans. And I was seeing that his presidency put a lot of things in place, and there's a likelihood of US aid suspension. and people are saying this would cost Nigeria $1 billion health funding. We already have a deficit in our health sector at this point. Having this a whole amount of money being costing us due to Trump's presidency, how can we create a relationship that would ensure that, something tangible comes out of this presidency and this funding continues one way or another? What do you see, or what do you make of this?
Okay, I think what happened in the US is that Trump is trying to withdraw funding for WHO because the US is the major funder of World Health Organization. And then most of the intervention projects that we have in Nigeria, talk about maybe some of them are immunization projects, some of them are health-related, what do you call it? Different kind of health projects. They are handled by the WHO as grant, as support, even research and all those things. They are being funded by WHO and those things. Now, the issue is that the American policy is changing. Previously the America used to be like the Father Christmas, and they are Father Christmas because you want to be able to influence other parts of the world. If you provide resources for these countries, you should be able to influence them. So what we need to do is let's look inward. You see, there are some of these things we can do on our own. If you look at the way we waste resources, if we don't waste these resources, we can actually do them. Some of the grants we get from WHO, or from international organizations, it's not as if we don't have the resources.
Yeah, we need.
But we have to now look inward. We have to make use of our own resources, so that somebody like Trump will not come and look at us and say, "Look, get out. You can't help yourself. I'm the one helping you."
True that. We hope that we'll have leaders who would be wise enough and have the political will to look inwards and build the Nigeria that we all deserve. Thank you so much, Dr. Theophilus Abba, for always joining us on the show. It's always a pleasure having you with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Having said that, dear listeners, we've come to the end of Daybreak this beautiful morning. I hope we've been able to keep you informed. I hope we've been able to engage you. And to everyone who picked up their phones and called us this morning, we say a big thank you. We do appreciate your participation, and we do not take it for granted. Well, I'll see you again here tomorrow. Same time, same station. Bye for now.